Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special Generation 1 figure showcase and review, we're going to be looking at these figures here. Now, very quickly, if you followed the Hasbro continuity of Transformers, that means in 1988, this is one of your Powermaster Autobots Getaway, but if you follow the Japanese continuity, then this is your 1988 Super God Master Force Godmaster Lightfoot figure. So, what we're going to do with this video, anyhow, we're going to concentrate mainly on the toy and only on the toy, because I don't want to get into confusing too many people about the stories. We're going to have a look at the accessories that came with him to help you know if yours is complete. We're also going to point out things that you need to be aware of if you have to purchase one for yourself. And as I'm lucky enough to have two different types of packaging, we can have a look at the beautiful artwork and the battle scenes on the back of that. So before we get started, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to the channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really will help me out. So yeah, these, as you can see, released at the same time, released in the same year, just in completely different continents. And thankfully enough for these, there's no actual physical differences in the toy, whereas sometimes with the Super God Master Force figures, they change the colors and they also changed a few other things, whereas with this, they didn't at all. I'm just going to shift the boxes out of the way for now, because as I say, I want to concentrate on the toys. I'm going to talk a little bit about it, but I don't want to go into too much detail on transtectors and all things like that. And also, just to let you know, I'm going to be uploading the transformation tutorial. The reason for that is to keep the main length of this video down, and in all honesty, I'm dead scared in doing it, so I'm going to do it in a separate video and take my time. Right, let's have a look at the robot then, because I really like this figure. I don't think I had it as a child, but I definitely had the experience of playing with it, and whether it must have been a friend's, but I don't remember actually owning it. Now, the figure itself is pretty much as basic as it comes. A lot of people don't really like the figures after 86 because they did just turn into huge chunks of plastic, but what they all had was just amazing gimmicks. Now, things to be aware of on this one: the most common and the most obvious one is the white tends to fade or go yellow quite badly. Now, the thing that's really interesting about this figure, and I don't know why, and I've tried to find out a reason, is that the legs are completely independent, the feet are completely independent down here, and it looks like they would have been completely independent if they'd have just separated the spoiler through there. So I've got no idea why the spoiler was never separated, and then you would have had completely independent legs. You would have been able to do knee bend on one of them instead of having to do both at the same time. So whether that was a cost-cutting exercise or something, I don't know, but to be honest, it looks like they've put all the hard work into the fact that they've got all the joints, all the splits, all the molding set up like that, but they never just went ahead and just put a tiny little slit in there. Anyway, due to that, the articulation on this is incredibly limited. The head doesn't really do anything apart from pop up and down. That's just for transformation. The arms, you could say, will move out to the side to give you the T. That's because they will, but that's pretty much about it. They're not going to go all the way around. You do have bicep flexion. The wrists, they fold in due to transformation, but of course they don't really do anything else. And the waist swivel is there as well. So you've got a waist swivel, and that's pretty much about it. It is super basic. You will need to look out for corroding in the metal pins in there. Also, as well, of course, the stickers. With the stickers coming off this, then it doesn't make it look that attractive. Very, very quickly, he did have an update in the Prime Wars trilogy, and do you know what? I actually prefer the original compared to this, because they made him into like a Titan Master where you changed his head, but of course that was never the gimmick, and for me, I just didn't really like it. I much prefer the original, so he is in desperate need of a proper upgrade. Hopefully we get one soon. Let's bring the alternate mode in very quickly then. And funnily enough, let's have a look at the gun. So this is his blaster. It is huge. It's got quite a bit of detail on it. It will also fit on the roof like so. And then of course we've got his Target Master partner. I'm going to do Hasbro continuity speak first and foremost. We've got his Target Master partner Rev, who is here. And there he is. So as I say, they didn't change him at all. In Japan, sometimes they changed him, and in fact they did actually release him. I think he was Zetka. Again, if you're unsure, check out the Japanese playlists on here, because he had an individual release, and he had his Japanese version release as well. So the articulation on these, you could move the arms up and down for obvious reasons. On these I'm not going to, and the legs as well also folded back, and he then became the engine for the particular figure. Now once again, I'm not going to do it on this. In fact, okay, I might as well. There's the things to look out for with this is chrome, and of course missing limbs. Now I've said I wasn't going to do this, so let's hope it does work. You would put the engine in. So if you didn't have the engine, you would have to physically press down here quite. Do you know what? I'm going to do that instead, because sometimes if these get stuck, you can see where this would hold in the legs. I really shouldn't be doing things like this. No, I'm not going to push him in. You would push him in all the way. He would fit in there, and that would then press this button down, and that would enable you to start the rest of the transformation process, which would enable to bring this part forward like so, and then you could of course complete the rest of it. So you see how this there controlled that locking mechanism in there. So these engines, Powermasters if you were Hasbro, Godmasters if you were Takara, played quite a big part, especially in the toy. So you can of course, as you've seen, just manipulate it with your hands, but it was much more fun as a kid popping them in. Now if you're wondering why I didn't, guys, you've got these clips here which hold over the legs, and if you've tried to buy one of these on the secondary market, it's very common to find these legs just completely ripped off, and that's due to things like that. So again, apologies in this video, but I will upload it separately and do it really slowly, maybe with that one, because I'm pretty sure this one hasn't been transformed. This one, I'm lucky enough to say, has come from this Japanese box. So the Takara box, on the back, as I say, we knew this as the Pretenders, so that's how I knew it as a kid. But this is beautiful Super Godmaster Force artwork, which was of course the cartoon that was running in Japan in 1988. So again, it makes a lot more sense when you look at that. The other thing with these is they package them in, which again I much prefer, they package them in polystyrene inserts like so. In fact, I'm going to put him back, might as well. There is the engine that comes with him. There is the gun, and these would fit in there. And the reason why I like them much better is because, as you'll see by my Hasbro one, anybody, myself included, when we were kids, used to just rip the bubbles off, and then of course you just wouldn't be able to preserve the figure anywhere near as good as what you can do just by simply slotting him back into a box. Very quickly as well, the C stood for Cybertrons, which was Autobots, and this is figure 304. So they had a lot more figures in Japan. This is now of course very offensive, so we won't talk about him, I'll cover him up. And there of course we've got, it cost 1,980 yen. But there you go, guys, that is the beautiful Takara box. And then of course let's have a look at the other one. So this is Hasbro, and this is how I saw him in the shops. Again, you can see that the engine is called Rev. He transforms like so. Oops, there you go. The transformation process is on the top, and then on the back again we've got exactly the same artwork. We can also read the tech spec. If I hold it there, you can pause and read it. But to be honest, there isn't much more to say about him apart from what I have already said, and that is he is in desperate need of an updated figure. So there you go. Let me know what you think in the comments. Maybe you had one as a child, and as I say, keep an eye out for the separate transformation tutorial. Hopefully nothing breaks. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Take care.